श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ओम सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। So अथ पंचदशोऽध्यायः. We will start with the 15th chapter from the beginning. Okay. We have seen the stories about why this 15th chapter is a special chapter, and why we will start chanting the shlokas of the chapter, etc. in the previous class itself. The story about the sadhu who came to study from me. पूर्वाध्याये भगवता संसारबन्ध हेतून् गुणान् व्याख्याय तेषाम् अत्ययेन ब्रह्मभावो मोक्षो मद्भजनेन लभ्यते इति उक्तम्. In the previous chapter, Bhagavan very clearly said, Samsara hetun gunan. The cause for bondage in the samsara is the triguna, the three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. After explaining that they are the cause for the samsara, tesham atyena, by going beyond it, by crossing over this samsara, Brahma bhavo moksha mad bhajanena labhyate. One can become the Brahman, one can gain the Brahman, one can become the Brahman, one can gain the Brahman means one can gain the liberation. How is it gained? Mad bhajanena, through the worship of me. This was said earlier. It was said earlier. Yes, we are good people, we don't keep anything in our mind. Therefore, he says, Mam cha yo abhyavicharena bhakti yogena sevate sadgunan samatityetan brahma bhuyaya kalpataiti. Mam cha yo abhyavicharena bhakti yogena sevate sadgunan samatitya etan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Mam cha yo abhyavicharena, one who, me, one who worships me without fail. Abhyavicharena mam. Only me and without failing. That is, they are both important. We keep saying this story. This man was in trouble, so he called Shiva, and Shiva had to come to his rescue. When his wife Parvati asked, "Where are you going?" So he had to explain. It took him some time to explain that lady Parvati why he is leaving. What is the importance here? So during this period, this man who was calling Shiva, 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 he was fed up. Shiva is not coming here. So let us ditch Shiva. Vishnu, Vishnu, Vishnu. So Shiva went and he came back. Parvati said, you gave me a story, such a soft story that you are going to rescue this devotee of yours. Now what happened? It's okay. He is calling Vishnu. Vishnu will help him. Now again, Vishnu, 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 after some time, same situation, he calls in somebody else. So that is not how you have to worship. Abhyavicharena, with focus, without fail, without changing your mind. You have to have an Ishtadevata, and that should be that over. Bhakti yogena, and through devotion. Sevate, one who worships. Sagunan samaditya, he crosses over the three gunas. By crossing over these three gunas, Brahma bhuyaya kalpate, he becomes eligible for becoming that absolute self. He is capable of becoming the absolute self. He is the absolute self. Tatra manusyasya tava bhakti yogena katham brahma bhava iti ashankaya. Now there is a doubt. Mam abhyabicharena, me without fail. But how can you, being a human being, worshipping you, how can this state of being Brahman be attained? This liberation be attained? Iti ashankayam. When this doubt sprouts, swasya brahma rupata jnapanaya sutra bhuto ayam shloko bhagavata uktaha. To show oneself to be the absolute self, Bhagavan gives a gist in the form of an aphorism, a sutra. You have to understand what a sutra is. Sutra is not some sutra is an idea given in brief. That does not mean it is a meaningless statement. It cannot be a meaningless statement also. Nyang chung tong, something. I just blabbered something. Gibberish it is. There can be no meaning which can be taken out of that. So he says, Sutra bhuto ayam. This is the essence. This is the gist of what he is going to explain. This is the gist of the teaching. So, Shloko Bhagavata Ukta. That he Bhagavan explained in the previous chapter. What did he say? Brahmano hi pradishtaham amritasya vyayasya cha shashvatasya cha dharmasya sukasya ekantikasya cha iti. Brahmano hi pratishtaham. I am the substratum for the Brahman. The Kari Brahman which you see. I am the substratum for that. Amritasya, that Kari Brahman. That Brahman who, which is Amrita, the absolute self, which is eternal. Aubhyaya, that is changeless, transformationless. Shashvata, that which is eternal again. Amrita, deathless. Here Shashvata, Shashvat Bhava, Shashvata, eternal. That which is Dharma, that which is bliss, Sukha, that is Aikantika, non-dual. For that self, I am the substratum. Asya sutrasya vrittisthaniyo ayam panchadashodhyaya arabhyate. For this, whatever is said in this shloka in the form of a sutra, the gist, the 15th chapter is an explanation to that shloka. Bhagavatah Shri Krishnasya hi tattvam nyatva tat prema bhajanena gunatita san brahma bhavam katham apnuyat loketi. Why should he explain it? It is already said in the form of sutra, right? Why should he go on to explain this? Because Bhagavan Shri Krishna's knowing the real nature of Krishna, knowing the real nature of the self, Krishna here is self. Okay, knowing the real nature of the self, tat prema bhajanena, we should not equate it with this the prema bhakti. There is a group which supports in Brindavan. If you go, you can see this sect which dresses themselves as, whether it's male or female does not really matter. They dress themselves up as a gopika and worship Krishna. So we are not talking about that kind of prema bhajana. We are talking about this complete devotion. Gunatita san. Through that complete devotion, by inquiring into this absolute self, by becoming gunatita, by becoming liberated, Brahma bhavam katham apnuyat. How he can become this? How he will gain this absolute self? Thinking this, he is explaining. Meaning, Bhagavan wants you to gain that absolute self. Somehow or other, I want him to get this absolute self. So somehow I am going to explain again to him this process of becoming the absolute self. Iti. Tatra ब्रह्मणो हि प्रतिष्ठा अहम इत्यादि भगवद वचनम आकर्ण्य मम तुल्यो मनुष्यहम कथम एवं वदति इति विस्मयाविष्टम आतिभयात् लज्जया च किंचिदपि प्रष्टुम अशक्नुवन् तम अर्जुनं आलक्ष्य कृपया स्वस्वरूपं विवक्षुः. Bhagavan said, Brahmano hi pratishthaham. I am the substratum for the absolute self. I am the substratum for everything. Now, after hearing this, iti vachanam akarnya, Bhagavad vachanam akarnya, after hearing this statement of Bhagavan, mama tulya manusyoyam, katham evam vadati iti, vismayavishtaha. Arjuna is surprised. How can he claim himself to be the substratum for Brahman? He is a human being like me. So, with this Vismaya, now there are two more reactions he is gaining. This first is surprise. Then following surprise, he has gained two more reactions. What are they? Ati bhaya lajjaya cha. There is great fear and shy. See, great fear. If he is really the self, That is the fear. Now he is feeling shy because he used Bhagavan in such odd ways that no one could use. He used Bhagavan, he gained the help of Bhagavan, he requested the help of Bhagavan for what? Not for just this fight. He also requested Bhagavan's help for kidnapping Bhagavan's own sister Subhadra. So now this fellow is like, what kind of person I am? So, iti kinchidapi prashtum ashakman. With these kind of emotions, he is not able to ask anything. Normally, it will be Arjuna Uvacha. Now he is not able to question anything. So, seeing this kind of state of Arjuna, Tam Arjunam Alakshya, seeing this kind of state of Arjuna, Kripaya Swaswarupam Vakshu. Bhagavan, with his compassion, he started explaining. Vivakshu Vaktumichu, desiring to explain his inherent nature. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Repeat. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Urdhvamulam adhashakham. Urdhvamulam adhashakham. Urdhvamulam adhashakham. Ashvatham prahur avyayam. Ashvatham prahur avyayam. Ashvatham prahur avyayam. Urdhvamulam adhashakham. Ashvatham prahur avyayam. Chandamsi yasya parnani. Chandamsi yasya parnani. Chandamsi yasya parnani. Yastam vedasa vedavit. Yastam vedasa vedavit. Yastam vedasa vedavit. Chandamsi yasya parnani. Yastam vedasa vedavit. Chandamsi yasya parnani. Yastam vedasa vedavit. From the beginning. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Chant along with me. Urdhvamulam adhashakham. Ashvatham prahuravyayam. Chandamsi yasya parnani. Yastam vedasa vedavit. Urdhvamulam adhashakham. Urdhvamulam, the root, is above. Adhashakham, the branches are below. Ashvatham prahu avyayam. This Ashvatham, they call it as eternal, avyaya, transformationless. Ashvatha, banyan tree. Chandamsi yasya parnani, the Vedas are its branches. Yastam Veda Savedavita, one who knows this tree is knower of the Vedas, knower of the self. Veda is Brahman again. Tatra viraktasya eva samsarat bhagavad tattva jnani adhikarah nanyatha iti purvokta adhyayuktam. So, only for a person who has dispassion, there is this possibility of gaining release from the samsara through the devotion, through the knowledge of the self. Only a person who has dispassion is eligible for gaining the knowledge and getting rid of the samsara. Not for anyone else. Nanyathaiti. There is no other possibility. Only through dispassion you can get rid of the samsara. This is what Naitri Upanishad also, the 6th chapter, whole chapter discusses about the creation aspect. Why? To gain the dispassion. How a child enters the womb, etc. is discussed. Why I have come to understand the self. Why are you teaching me about this? There he explains for the sake of dispassion. So here also, Purvadhyayuktam Parameshwara Adhina Prakriti Purusha Sanyogaryam Samsaram. What is the samsara? The samsara which we want to get rid of. What is that samsara? Samsara is the Prakriti Purush Sanyoga, the association of the Prakriti and Purusha. Remember this. That is not samsara like we accept. This is the samsara which the Sankyans accept. The association of Prakriti and Purusha is samsara. Prakriti independently, without the aid of Purusha, without being controlled by Purusha, without any association with Purusha, creates everything for the sake of Purusha. That is what Sankyans accept. But inert Prakriti cannot be in the driving seat, cannot create anything, cannot act independently. So, what we said is Parameshwara Adhina Prakriti Purusha Sanyoga. The association between the Prakriti and Purusha is under the Parameshwara, under the guidance of Parameshwara. So, under the control of Parameshwara, samsara karyam. That association, the effect of that association is a samsara. Vriksha Rupa Kalpanaya. That samsara is explained in the form of a tree. Varnayati. Vriksha Rupa Kalpanaya Varnayati. See, this is called in Alankara Shastra. Alankara Shastra is the Shastra which discusses about these different kinds of things, like what is the median in which this story is said. This is we call it genre, right? Like that here also in Alankara, different genres and what are the different aspects in that particular section, etc., are discussed. So this is called as Rupaka Alankara, meaning we completely know that this is different and that is different. Samsara is different and the tree is different. Tree cannot be samsara because we are talking about the samsara tree which has the root up under the branches below. This is not possible anywhere in this world, which is completely impossible. Though we know this, we equate it with the tree. Though we know that they cannot be similar, we similarize to the exemplified association. That is called as Rupaka Alankara. So, why he is using this Rupaka Alankara? Vairagyaya, for the sake of dispassion, for gaining the dispassion. Prastuta Gunatitatva Upayatva Tasya. Why should I gain this Vairagya? Because for becoming the Gunatita, for crossing over the Gunas, I need this Vairagya. Urdham Utkrishtam Moolam Karanam. Swaprakasha Paramananda Rupatvena Nityatvena sa Brahma. Urdham means Utkrishtam, superior. Urdham means higher, means superior. Moolam means cause. Moolam means root. Here it means cause. Swaprakasha Paramananda Rupatvena Nityatvena cha. Brahman is that superior because Brahman is self-effulgent, Brahman is absolute bliss, and Brahman is eternal. Therefore, it is a superior. That is why in Mundakopanishad it's called as Paravara. Paropi Avaraha Yasya. Even the superior, that which you accept in the world, is inferior to that Brahman. Athava Urdham samsara badhe api abaditam samsara sarva samsara brahma adhishtanam brahma. Or Urdham can be higher, means though the samsara is troubling, it is not troubled. Therefore, it is higher, it is beyond. Sarva samsara brahma adhishtanam brahma, meaning that which is the substratum for the whole of samsara. That Brahman is what we are talking about. Tadeva maya moolam asyeti urdhva moolam. And that Brahman, through the maya, becomes the cause for this samsara. Therefore, it is called as urdhva moola. Brahma adhishtanam, it is not really, see, that is why you have to understand. The substratum can never be touched by the superimposition. The superimposition cannot enhance or reduce something from the substratum, remove something from the substratum. It is associationless always. Adha iti arvachinaha karyopade hiranyagarbhadayaha gruhyanti. Adha means below. Below means whatever is the karya, whatever is the effect, meaning the karya upadhi, the embodiment of effects, the Hiranyagarbha, etc. Right from Hiranyagarbha till a small pippi, like a small ant or small insect. Brahmadi Stamba Paryantam, Brahmadi Pripidika Paryantam, etc., which we say in the Shastras. Right from Brahma to a small insect, right from Brahma to a small ant. Everything is Karyopadhi. So that Karyopadhi is what is referred to as Adha, below. Te Nana Dik Prasirtatva Shaka Iva Shaka Asyeti Adhashakam. And that Karya is a spread in different directions, like a branch, branches. That is why it is called as shaka. Now, see, a tree's branches out in different directions. Similarly, this jiva, there is this sarga, heaven, there is this hell, and there is this mortal world. And the hell also, there are different hells, and the heaven also, there are different heavens, and in this mortal world also, there are different kinds of beings. So it has branched out in different directions. आशु विनाशित्वेन च श्वोपि स्थाता इति विश्वास अनर्हम् अश्वत्थम् Nashvat tishtati iti ashwatham. It does not exist tomorrow. That is why it is called as ashwatha. Banyan tree. Why we refer to as banyan tree? It's not banyan tree. Because banyan tree lives for a long time. This is given the name banyan. Ashwatha means ashwatha. Shwa means tomorrow. Tha means existence. Negation. So negation of existence tomorrow. That which cannot be trusted to exist next day. That is what is this samsara. We don't get the real purport of this teaching. That is why we are everything is going fine. Why should I be worried? That is the question we ask. Everything is fine. We don't want to get into this knowledge because everything is fine. See, there is this incident which is happening for this whole of week. Every fellow has a new year, good new year, and this fellow, poor fellow, he had a very good position, power, and all that. And like I was explaining, see, when we were kids, we used to see the flight, and we used to wonder what will happen to the people, the pee and poo of the people, which when they use the laboratory in the flight. Later we understand they are made into ice cubes and all that, and they are thrown, discarded in different places. Sometimes it may fall on some location, and I've read in paper like it fell on some place, and this fellow saw a blue cube falling from the sky, and he thought it's a very precious metal, so he took it to his house and kept it. Ice cube. After some time, it's going to melt. It melted and it smelled so bad. His whole house had to be disinfected and all that. So these kind of things also happen. Like here, we wonder what happens. This fellow, he probably wanted to understand what happens. Now he was in a very high position, very well-to-do position, a very nice position, and probably he went to get something done in US, and he got that. He was celebrating his position, his happiness, and had two more pegs of whatever he drank. And in an inebriated condition, he did something stupid, which he cannot forget. Now he is equated. What he did is not wrong, not right. I completely accept that it is wrong, something very bad. But he is equated like he's spoken of like a terrorist or some serial killer kind of. No, a simple mistake it is in his inebriated condition. So everything changed totally. For his life became upside down. So that is why he says, Nashwopi Tata Vishwasanaham. Tomorrow there is no guarantee that it will exist. That is why we use the term drishta nashta subhavaha for the samsara. While you see, it disintegrates, it gets destroyed, that in front of your very own eyes. Anarham ashwatham maya mayam. Simply put, it is maya maya. It is a product of maya. See, a magician creates things, magical things. It doesn't exist eternally. They all get destroyed in front of your own eyes. Similarly, samsara vriksham, this samsara tree, avyayam, anadi, ananta dehadi santana ashrayam, avyayam, avyayam. Why is it called as avyaya? Eternal. Meaning, anadi, ananta dehadi santana. There is a flow of, there is continuity of, continuous flow of, or continuity of the bodies, association with bodies. From the time immemorial to the time immemorial, there is a continuity of the flow of bodies, association of the bodies. Therefore, and atmajnana mantrena anuchedyam, this flow of body cannot be destroyed. This association with this flow of body cannot be destroyed without the knowledge of self. That is why Bhagavan Bhashyakara and Bhajagovindam said, Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare shayanam. You again die, you are again born, and you again enter the womb of mother. Again and again, this process will continue till you understand the truth. That is why it is called as a Anantam Avyayam Ahu. It is called as Ananta Avyaya. Transmission. It's always happening. Shrutayah. This is one thing which is changeless. It's always there. That change is always there. That is the changeless thing. That is why it is called as Avyaya. Who calls this? So, Shrutayah, Smrtayascha. The Shrutis and Smritis say this. Where did the Shruti say? He is bringing in the Upanishad. Shrutayastavat. The Shruti is Urdha Mulodha Arvak Shakha Esho Ashwatha Sanatan Ityadya. See, the moment you see a very similar statement from somewhere, similar statement to Bhagavad Gita somewhere, you can close your eyes and say this is from Katha Upanishad. So, Ityadya Kathavalleshu Patitaha. Many of the statements here are said not verbatim. The words are verbatimly taken and rephrased. Urdha Mulaha Arvak Shakha. That which has the root up under the branches below. That kind of Ashwatha, this eternal Ashwatha. Sanatana. Here we have Avyaya, we say, and here in Katha Upanishad it is said as Sanatana. Arvancho Nikrushto Karyopadiyo Mahadangara Danmatrayo Va Shakaha. Arvancha means Nikrishtaha, that which is very, very cheap. The Karyopadis, the embodiments of the effector, which is like a Mahat, Ahankara, etc. Mahat, Ahankara, Tanmatra, these are things which the Sankhins understand. So he is using those things. Shakha, that is like the branches. Asiti Arvak Shaka. For this tree, that is why it is called as Arvak Shaka. Iti Adha Shaka Pada Samanartha. Adhak Shaka and Arvak Shaka are same. And Avyaya and Sanatana and Avyaya are same. They are synonyms. They don't. The one said in the Upanishad and one said here are same. There it is Sanatana, here it is Avyaya. That is the only difference. Smrtayascha. The Smritis also, people who have studied the Shastra and who have written this, they also say the same thing. What do they say? Avyaktamula bhavat. Avyaktamula prabhavastasya eva anugrahotitaha buddhiskandhamayaschaiva indriyantara kotaraha mahabhuta vishakhascha vishayesh patravanstata dharma supushpascha sukha dukkha falodayah ajivya sarvabhutanam brahmavriksha sanatanaha etat brahmavanam chasya brahmacharati sakshivat edatchitva jabitva cha jnanena paramasina tataschatmagatim prapya tasmat navartate punaityadya. There are so many other statements similar to this. We are just referring to some statements which for you to say that this is said in other place also. Avyakta Mula, it has its root in the Avyakta, Avyakrata, that self. Prabhavas Tasya Eva Anugraha Uttitaha. From the Avyakta Mula, from that Avyakta, it has come into existence. And it is existent because of that Avyakrata, Avyakta self. Buddhi Skandamaya. The Buddhi is like the Skanda, the branches, the main trunk. Buddhi is like the main trunk. Indriyantara Kotaraha. And Indriya, the sense organs are like the hollow portion in that trunk. Okay. Mahabhuta Vishakascha Vishayehi Parvat Patravansata. And Mahabhutas, the five elements, major elements, they are the different branches. And the Vishayas, the sense objects are like the leaves of that tree. Dharma, Adharma, Supushpascha. The Dharma and Adharma, they are the flowers of that tree. Sukha Dukkha Phalodaya. And happiness and sorrow are the fruits of that tree. Ajivya Sarabhutanam Brahma Vriksha Sanatana. This is what all the beings are associated with. Etat Brahmavanam Chasya. This is the one which has to be experienced. This is the Brahmavanam. Vanam is not the forest. Because one tree we are talking about, one tree cannot be forest. Vanam means vananiyam, that which should be worshipped, which should be enjoyed. Chasya Brahma Acharat Sakshvat. Therefore, he experiences. How? Not the self does not experience it like us. We experience things. Sakshivat. As the witness, it experiences. Yetachitvacha vitvacha jnanena paramasina. And by cutting and tearing this through the sword of knowledge, asi means sword, to the sword of knowledge, tatascha atmagatim prapya. And after felling it up, gaining the absolute state, tasmat na vartate punaha, one does not come back to this samsara again. Ityadaya. These kind of slokas are there in the Shruti and Smrti. Avyaktam avyakritam mayopadhikam brahma tadeva moolam karanam tasmat prabha yasya satatha. For which the avyakta avyakrita maya, the maya upadhika brahma, the karya brahma, we are not talking about the causal brahman, the effectual brahman, the hiranyagarbha, etc. So that which is the cause for everything, all this creation, and because of which, that is the cause and because of which it has come into existence. Tasya moolasya avyaktasya anugrahat. And because of that, the grace of that effectual Brahman, atidridat uttatitha samvardhita. It has become so strong and it has branched out in different directions. Vrikshasya hi shakha skandhat udbhavati. Because the branch of the tree comes from the trunk. Therefore, samsarasya buddhehe sakashat nanavidha parinam bhavati. From the trunk, different branches come out. From the buddhi, from the intellect, different kinds of transformations, kama, sankalpa, vichikitsa, etc., different kinds of transformations of thought come into existence. Tena sadharmyena buddhireva skandaha tanmaya tatprachuroyam. Therefore, there is a similarity. That also branches out from the trunk, and from the trunk, the branches come out. From the buddhi, these different kinds of thought functions branch out. Therefore, there is a similarity. Therefore, tat prachuraha, prachuryarthe mayat. There is a sutra. When you want to say abundance about something, we use this mayat pratyaya. So, to show that he says skandha mayaha, skandha, the trunk, it is full of trunk, means abundance of trunk. Everywhere the branches associated with the trunk. Indriyanam antarani chidrani eva kotrani yasya satata. Indriyas, the sense organs are like the holes, the hollow portions in the trunk. Manti, Bhutani, Akashadini, the great elements like Akasha, etc. Prithvyantani, till the Prithvi. Atma, Akasha, Sambhuta, Akasha, Vayu, Vayu, Agni, Agni, Rapa, Abhyah, Prithvi. From the ether to the earth. Whatever these different elements which we spoke about, Vividaha Shakha are the different kinds of branches. Yes, yes, Vishakha. Vividaha Shakha iti Vishakha. Vishakha means different branches. Stambho yasyeti. So that stamba, that branch which comes out in different directions from this, therefore it is called the trunk. Ajivya upajivya. Ajivya means upajivya. It is dependent upon that trunk, that tree. Brahmano paramatmana adhishtito vriksho brahma vriksha. Brahma vriksha means it is established in the absolute self. There is nothing which is not associated with the absolute self. Everything is associated with the absolute self, because without its association there can be no existence of anything. When we say the tree exists, vriksha sat, vriksha sat. When we say sat for the vriksha asti, that existence is because of the self. Therefore, Atma Jnanam vina chetum ashakyataya sanatana. It is called as eternal. And why are we studying the Shastra? Without the knowledge of the Shastra, you cannot destroy. Without the knowledge of the self, which can be gained only through the Shastra, it cannot be destroyed. That is why it is called as eternal. The samsara is called as eternal. Yetat brahmavanasya vanam asya brahmano jiva rupasya bhogyam. This brahmavana means this whole thing which is the bhogya, the object of experience for the jiva, the Brahman which is in the form of jiva, bhogyam vananiyam sambhajaniyam iti vanam. Meaning vananiyam means that which should be respected, which should be experienced, which should be worshipped. That Brahma sakshivad acharati natu etat kritena lipyate ityartha. This self in the form of jiva is as though associated with thee. It does not experience those things. It is like the witness existing there. It is not associated with directly with those objects of experience. Etad brahmavanam samsara vrikshatmakam chitva ch vitva cha aham brahmasmi iti atidrida jnana khadgena samulam nikritya ityartha. So this brahmavanam, meaning this samsara tree, this tree of samsara, by destroying, by felling it, with what? With aham brahmasmi iti, with this knowledge that I am the self. It is not just a superfluous knowledge. He is talking about atidhrida jnana, with a very strong knowledge, established knowledge of I am the self. Only with that knowledge as the sword, samulam nikritya, removing it, uprooting it completely. Along with its root, you have to remove it. Only then Atma Rupam Gatim Prapya. When you remove that, uproot it completely, you become the absolute self. You gain the state of being the absolute self. Tasmad Atma Rupat Mokshat na avartate. From that state of being the self, he does not come back into the samsara. That is the idea. See, not all the words in the shloka is explained here. Only the important words which needs to be explained are explained, because the rest are very easy to understand. Okay? Atracha, we will see this. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.